Good day, everyone. So for today, the group 3 will discuss about the lesson 5, which is the arts and the artisan. First, let us differentiate the arts and the artisan. So, the artist, it is a talented and work on visual arts like painting, drawing, photography for aesthetical value of an art. While the artisan is a skilled worker and usually work on furniture, pottery, and jewelry for practical and decorative reason.
So we have 15 famous personalities of arts and their works.
So first is Leonardo da Vinci. His full name is Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci. He was an Italian polymath of the High Renaissance who was an active painter, draftsman, engineer, scientist, theorist, sculptor, and architect. His quote is, "He who thinks little ears much." His famous works are The Last Supper, Mona Lisa, and Vitruvian Man. Among the works created by Leonardo in the 16th century in the small portrait known as the Mona Lisa or La Gioconda, the Laughing One. In the present era, it is arguably the most famous painting in the world. So the second one is Vincent William van Gogh. He was born on March 30, 1853 and died on July 29, 1890. He was a Dutch post-impressionist painter who posthumously became one of the most famous and influential figures in Western art history. In a decade, he created about 2,100 artworks, including around 860 oil paintings, most of which date from the last 2 years of his life. They include landscape, still photography, portraits, and self-portraits, and are characterized by bold colors and dramatic, impulsive and expressive brushwork that contributed to the foundations of modern art. Not commercially successful, he struggled with severe depression and poverty, eventually leading to suicide at the age of 37. So his quote is, "I dreamed of painting and then I paint my dream." His famous works are the Starry Night, Sunflowers, and the Irises. The third one is Michelangelo di Lodovico Buonarroti Simoni, or known as simply as Michelangelo. He was born on March 6, 1475 and died on February 18, 1564. He was an Italian sculptor, painter, architect, and poet of the High Renaissance. Born in the Republic of Florence, his work had a major influence on the development of Western art, particularly in relation to the Renaissance notion of humanism and naturalism. He is often considered a contender for the title of the archetypal Renaissance man, along with his rival and elder contemporary, Leonardo da Vinci, given the sheer volume of surviving correspondence, sketches, and reminiscences. Michelangelo is one of the best documented artists of the 16th century, and several scholars have described Michelangelo as the most accomplished artist of his era. So his favorite quote is, "Genius is eternal, patience." His famous works are the David, Creation of Adam, and St. Peter's Basilica. So the fourth one is Oscar Claude Monet or Claude Monet. He was born on November 14, 1840 and died on December 5, 1926. He was a French painter and founder of Impressionist painting who is seen as a key precursor to modernism, especially in his attempts to paint nature as he perceived it. During his long career, he was the most consistent and prolific practitioner of Impressionism philosophy, of expressing one's perceptions before nature, especially as applied to plain air or outdoor landscape painting. The term Impressionism is derived from the title of his painting Impression Soleil Levant, exhibited in the 1874 or Exhibition of Rejects, initiated by Monet and his associate as an alternative to the salon. His favorite quote is the richness I achieve comes from nature, the source of my inspiration. His famous works are the Water Lilies, Impression or Sunrise, and the Ruined Cathedral series.
So, Erida Kahlo. She was born on July 6, 1907 in Mexico City and also died on July 13, 1954 in Mexico City also. She was a painter and her quotes was, "I never paint dreams or nightmares, I paint my own reality." Here was the famous artworks of Erida. First, the two Fridas. Second, the self-portrait with thorn necklace and hummingbird. Third, the broken column. Georgia Okofe. She was born in November 15, 1887 in Wisconsin, USA and died on March 6, 1986 in Mexico City, USA. She was also a painter and her quotes was, "The days you work are the best days." Here was the famous artworks of Georgia. First, the Black Arises III. Second, Cow's Skull, red, white, and blue. Third, Radiator Building, Night, New York. Edgar Degas. He was born on July 19, 1834 in Paris, France, and died on September 27, 1917 in Paris, France also. He was a painter, a sculptor, and his quotes was, "Art is not what you see, but what you make others see." Here was the famous artworks of Edgar. First, the Absentee Drinker. Second, the Dance Class. Third, the Balili Family. Edward Munch. He was born on December 12, 1863 in Adalsbrook, Norway, and died on January 23, 1944 in Oslo, Norway. He was a painter and his quotes was, "From my working body, flowers shall grow and I am in them, and that is eternity." Here was the famous artworks of Edward. First, the Scream. Second, the Day After. Third, the Dance of Life. Jackson Pollock. He was born on January 28, 1912 in Wyoming, USA and died on August 11, 1956 in New York, USA. He was a painter and his quotes was, "The painting has a life of its own. I try to let it come true." Here was the famous artworks of Jackson. First, the number 5. Second, the number 11. Third, the number 31. Pablo Picasso. He was born on October 26, 1881 in Malaga, Spain and died on April 8, 1973 in Mogens, France. He was a painter, sculptor, ceramicist, stage designer, poet, and a playwright. And his quote was, "Every child is an artist." The problem is how to remain the artist once he grows up. Here was the famous artworks of Pablo. First, the Guernica. Second, the Young Ladies of Avignon. Third, the Weeping Women.
Is Gustav Klimt, born on July 14, 1862 at Austria. He was a painter and died on February 6, 1918 at Vienna, Austria. His quote is, "Truth is like fire, to tell the truth means to glow unborn." His famous artworks are The Kiss, Portrait of Adele, and The Virgin. Next is Henry Moore, born on July 30, 1898 at Castleford, United Kingdom. He was a sculptor and died on August 31, 1986. His quote is, "One never knows what each day is going to bring. The important thing is to be open and ready for it." His artworks are recycling figures, king and queen, and bird basket. Next is Salvador Dali. Born on May 11, 1904 at Figueres, Spain, he was a painter and a draftsman. He died on January 23, 1989 at Figueres, Spain. His quote is, "Intelligence without ambition is like a bird without a wing." His famous artworks are The Persistence of Memory, Swans Reflecting Elephants, and The Premonition of Civil War. Next is Paul Cézanne, born on January 19, 1839 at France. He was a painter, died on October 22, 1906 at France. His quote is, "We live in a rainbow of chaos." His famous artworks are The Butters, The Card Player Series, and Jug Curtain and Football. Next is Diego Rivera, born on December 8, 1886 at Guanajuato, Mexico. He was a painter and died on November 24, 1957 at Mexico City. His quote is, "I've never believed in God, but I believe in Picasso." His famous artworks are The Man on the Crossroad, The Card Player Series, and The History of Mexico.